Thousands of years ago, a massive event occurred. An event that wiped out the entire population of the Earth and all living creatures on it. Life on Earth was no longer possible. A reason why people had to create a new place to live. However, this place was not on Earth. The population had to emigrate to another planet. Natural organisms such as fungi or algae transformed themselves into architectural structures on their own. These types of buildings served as protection and living space for the newly settled people. A new planet, where it's possible for people to live, was born. So, as it has already been said, many thousands of years ago, a dramatic natural event exterminated all living beings on Earth. The world was completely destroyed by it. Earth was no longer a place where life was possible. The cause? A large erupting volcano. And exactly this volcano, with its entire environment, is what our scene shows. The first idea was to use images of butterflies to create our mesh, but as we wanted to take our own pictures, we decided to go for treetop images. As the next step, these images got transformed, generated, and finally stacked. That way it was possible to create different kinds of objects. The final object was created by using a tool called Monolith. Out of some different meshes, we decided to go for the current mesh as it had a very high and interesting resolution. We duplicated, rotated, and transformed the mesh until it turned into one big object. After putting a stone material onto the mesh, we found a lot of similarities with a volcano. This generated mesh we wanted to be our main big center object in the scene. A volcano erupting, surrounded by some raining trees and rocks which are about to be caught by the lava. In this project, we managed to achieve the resulting animation scenery through a range of various steps. Initially, after selecting the topic fireworks that we wanted to work with. So we started by selecting the dataset. For this reason, we collected many pictures of fireworks that were captured in various stages of the explosion of the firework. We ended having a different sample of the calm pictures, which we used in Runway for our latent walk images and then for the video. Through this, we were able to show a live character and present alternations of fireworks in slow transitions. Continuing the procedure for our creation in Rhino, we used a range of latent walk images which differ from one another. As a result of our research and experimentation with the previous procedure, it was worthwhile to divide the explosion of the firework in 3 time stages, indicating the 3 distinct image assemblages, each one with common characteristics. Thus, we ended up having 3 composite and varying structures opposing to the term smooth. For the display, we used a very interesting picture which shows not only the firework very clear, but also its variation of colorful flowing according with the firework's motion. Concerning the process of the 3D animation scenery, our aim was to preserve the exciting feeling, the character function, and color of the firework, which led us to the idea of the rupture of 3 volcanoes. For this reason, we created our 3D structures in black. Relating this to the carbon material of the volcanoes. Lava in this case reminds the explosion of the firework and surrounds the 3 mass objects. The impact of the volcano can be seen from the fog which is caused by the lava and the lava particles. leaving volcanic ash and gases that exist in the atmosphere and the grass. This is a result of nature, and through this, someone can observe the role of nature and the natural phenomena that exist. Apparently, this can either be a peaceful image of grass and flowers, or, in this case, volcanoes surrounded by lava, leading into a catastrophe and melancholic atmosphere. One can conclude that the exciting, powerful, and mysterious character can be distinguished in both fireworks and volcanoes. We started this project with a dataset of many different pictures like bread, aluminium, cookies, and some other. At the end, we chose to use the cookie images because we wanted to create our own dataset and not to use pictures from internet. We photographed different types of cookies, different colors, different forms, and placed them in different arrangements. So we get a rich dataset for latent walk images and for the video in runway. To have a 3D idea of our work, we used some images from the generated dataset and painted them with crayons on the foam board. After that, we created an object with rhino, more precisely grasshopper. The result was an object that reminds us of a flame, so we decided to create a doom scenario. We placed our object in the center of a blender scene and duplicated it a few times so that it stands out. Therefore, we created a stony and deadly landscape. As you can see, the trees are all dead and some skeletons are laying around. Only a few vultures can defy the deadly aura that the object exudes. To underline this, we built in glowing particles, which suggest that there is a volcano nearby that is just erupting. The mysterious object in the middle poses many puzzles. Nobody knows who built it, how it was created, or what it is. The human being can only survive with the environmental factors given on the Earth. If the human wants or needs to leave the atmosphere, he has to take advantage of human-made technologies. These technologies can only be produced with resources existing on the Earth. So, if the human would leave the Earth, he could take advantage of organisms which are adapted to the environmental factors existing on a different planet. Because these organisms will feed on given resources and do not need any treatment for the human. As a result, the human does not need to develop new technologies, especially for building shelter. This process is only possible if the human adapts itself to these organisms, which means that we have to take a step back and do not intervene in its natural growth. We have to create a symbiosis between the existing organisms and ourselves. Imagine there is no air to breathe, no water to drink. Life seems impossible. These organisms could be the answer. For example, some types of mushroom which are adapting to the existing environmental factors. The human now takes one little artificial step. We trigger its growth and let the nature do its job so we can use the resulting structures for our benefits and inhabit a sustainable architecture. The human integrates back to the nature because we create structures which already belong to the natural cycle. In our case, a structure which human can use as shelter or home. Because it is a fungi, it can appear in all kinds of forms. So it can also be used as factory, school, store, public space, etc. Some things we have in common are that we all have some kind of fire and lava elements in our environment, as well as stony elements. Our surroundings all have a gloomy atmosphere, but are all in nature. However, a big difference in our surroundings is that some are not habitable at all, while others have been made habitable again through adaptation.